Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome back to the Macro Lounge podcast. I am, of course, your co-host, Chris Bold, joined by the queen of all sparkles, Rachel Mead. She's looking very wintry down there, my dear. How come I'm in a t-shirt and you're in a sweater? This seems odd.
It's bloody cold. It's like, I know I think it's 7-degree low here today, but yesterday was 3.
Well, you did voluntarily move to, that part.
This is true, but it's a better part of the country, but my house does not have double glazing.
Sounds like a purchasing mistake on your part.
And the room that I tend to base out of used to be a garage.
Yeah, I would suspect there's not a hell of a lot of insulation in those walls, to be fair.
Probably not. I know for a fact that there's holes that I can see the ground underneath, so it is.
That would be a sign. Yep.
Yeah, pretty chilly.
On the plus side, this house, I don't think they know what double glazing is, because I think this house was built in 1930. So, but oh well, such is life. So, how's your week been? Today we're going to talk about prep goggles and the switching from growth season into prep mode. But I'm sure, like myself, this has made your week has been interesting so far. I'm sure.
Yeah. So similar to I assume you as well, Chris. I've been getting a lot of messages from a lot of stressed out competitors over the past week. I think I took the weekend off any non-urgent messages, so my apologies for delays. But yes, on Thursday, I had 15 people in my DMs, plus another, I think, 4 in my email. So that's nearly 20 people to have a conversation with in one day. It's just a few. Plus like 3 consults per day. So that was also great.
Yeah, it's those ones where they're freaking out and you're like going, you're in week 2. It's, it's not even hard yet, right?
Oh, well, see, yours is slightly different to mine. Mine, they all start freaking out about they haven't ordered their suits yet. And I'm like, well, you've had all year to do that.
This is true. And we have been telling them for many, many weeks now that get your orders in now, or you will run the risk of missing out. And it's sometimes I do think we are talking to mirrors, because it is like,
see, the thing is, though, when we say these things, the people who listen are the people who already know that.
That's true. This is true.
So, yes, usually the people who order the earliest are always the ones who are like, they're onto it, they're following me up, like, for making sure that they've got everything that they need, that they have all their measurements through. They're great. Yep. The people who need it, yeah, we like those people, but usually those people I prefer to do later, because often those are the first timers. Whereas the experienced competitors who know exactly what styles they want, they know exactly what color they want usually, or more or less, but they also know exactly what their size is. And they always leave it to the last minute, every time.
Yeah, true. I did have somebody yesterday reach out to me and did an initial consult and all that sort of stuff. And then she turned around and told me that she was doing IC in North Island and wanted to start prep today. And I was like,
2-week prep?
How long have you been prepping for this show? She said, oh, I'm just starting. I went, ICN? Are you sure? Not even South Island, baby. You were Palmerston North. Yeah. Okay. That was enough said about that.
So yes, everyone is very stressed right now. Everyone's very stressed. And to be honest, apparently it's not even just us, from what I can tell, because we went in to get my tire sorted yesterday.
Finally.
I know, but it's still not sorted. They told us the guy was very under the pump by the looks of it. I think there was only 2 people there, and poor dude was so stressed. And he's like, look, I can't do it. Like right now, it's going to take at least 2 hours. Like I need a minimum of 2 hours to do it. And like it really sounded like people were trying to like bash him to do it instantly, because the way that he kept emphasizing, I need minimum 2 hours. And we're like, it's fine.
You're like, cool. Yeah.
Although to be fair, I still don't have it back, and it's now been over 24 hours. So,
did you find the jack though? That is the question.
I did.
Where was it?
I think it was hidden under the driver's seat or the passenger seat. It wasn't where it was supposed to be.
It's never where it's supposed to be.
Well, because part of it, so the lever that you use to crank it around, was in the boot with the spare tire.
With the spare tire, yes.
Yes, but the actual jack part of it, like the actual main body, was not there. So I don't know.
The logic behind that is a little bit, I could see how this could be a difficult thing, so that's quite understandable. But at least now it's in the process, and
In the process.
hopefully it's sorted by Thursday when you have to drive up to Auckland, because we are flying on Friday as well. And you do have an important date on Thursday. You cannot miss
Well,
it.
I can get there. I can take Ed's car. The issue is that I don't know what he's going to do the rest of that week.
To be fair, that sounds like an Ed problem, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. He said, like, how am I going to drive around? So, yeah, that's an Ed problem.
Yeah.
But yes, excited
the way
for
I would
the
look at it.
closing workshop.
There you go. Then we're heading down for that. We upgraded to the larger studio, so which could be fun. So, and we do have one mail book. So I'm very excited about this.
Let's go. Bring some friends.
That's what I said. Bring some friends. So that was very exciting. Interesting though, we have literally every single federation is represented in some form or another from an athlete, except for NABA.
Interesting.
I know. We've got the entire alphabet soup, but we're missing the end.
Oh, okay. We need a NABA person.
I know. I was like, well, okay, that sounds like a NABA problem, not me.
Complete the collection.
So, exactly. We want to have the whole suite. It'd be, to keep it all the United Nations of New Zealand bodybuilding. That's how
exactly.
Yeah, so it should be.
Because we are Switzerland.
That's why we get in so much trouble, because we don't pick sides. You see. Well,
we just want. Yeah, just behind the scenes.
Yeah. What else have we got going on today? This week? Well, we had an interesting little bit of gossip. Not gossip, I suppose. I guess it's newsworthy.
Update.
Some updates on the NZ Muscle saga, which was long overdue, I think, for NZ Muscle to publicly
make a statement.
Make some form of statement about what has been going on. I personally felt it was somewhat underwhelming. I don't know any of the parties involved personally, but I think the delivery and how they've gone about it, I think, to be fair, lacks a reasonable amount of transparency, not even really fully acknowledging what they have been accused of, not even what they have been investigated by the various regulatory bodies. I am hoping that they come out of it in a more ethical position. I think their new CEO, Dave Latelli, who's got a very good, strong reputation amongst particularly the Pacifica population, and that weight loss transformation thing through his BBM and stuff like that. I'm hoping he can bring a little bit of, what's the word I'm looking for? Sincerity and some trust, which I think NZ Muscle is going to have to work very hard to work that trust back. And yeah, it's going to be a little bit more of watch this space. He did a TV3 news interview last night where I think the reporter on there relatively well skewered him. So let's see what happens. Should be fun.
It is a bit of a first, because so far all the main news stations and main news places, they haven't really been, I guess, digging into it much. They've just kind of been like, tell us your side of the story. Okay, cool. So this is what happened.
Yeah, more like NZ Muscle, tell us what happened. That seems legitimate. We won't actually talk about what you've been accused of doing, what evidence has been presented. So,
Chris has done a great job of being very PC, because there was a lot of times in that, in those words that you used, there was other words that came to mind.
Yes.
And I don't think I would be as PC as you.
No. There's a lot of bullshit. You knew exactly what was going on. And
well, when you said bring back into the company, what was the word? My first word that popped into my mind was morals.
I don't think that is a bad choice of words. So we will just have to see how we will
see what happens. But yeah, it's a bit interesting that they haven't acknowledged the accusation at all. They said that it's an internal investigation that they figured out themselves.
Yeah.
So basically, Cam and the crew have been just ignored completely.
Yeah. It's like, you've been caught. Now's probably a time, hat in hand, to say, you know what? We fucked up.
My favorite part, though, was in the video that they posted where Dion apologized for what was it? Internal
dropping the ball
issues.
Yeah.
Yep, that one.
Yeah, we'll call it that.
Originally, the comments were on for the first time ever. And I think it was only about half an hour before they got turned off. Because when Ed went to go look at it, he told me that there was no comments. But I definitely saw a few comments. I know that Cam commented. I know that the guy who runs Explosive commented. There was quite a few of them. Most of them were not positive, and they got turned off and all deleted.
It's much like their reviews.
That's pretty good.
Oh, well. I do know there is a part 2 for the documentary coming, so we'll hopefully we'll catch up with Cam before that comes out, because that would be interesting. But yeah, look, I personally don't think that what they've announced has achieved anything other than raising more questions.
Well, it's Band-Aid.
It's a PR Band-Aid at best.
They're putting a Band-Aid on a broken leg.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty much
the bone is sticking out and there's blood squirting everywhere.
It's a compound fracture. Basically, it's blood is pumping out at a great velocity, and it's like, yeah, little boo-boo, have a lollipop and off you pop. So yeah, well, let's see what happens there. I'm sure it'll be, just walk it off. Bit of that magic spray ice water, and you'll be good as new. Yes. So that'll be fun. Anyway, that's probably enough waffling on about the state of.
We love a bit of goss.
I don't think it's a fair reflection of the supplement industry in New Zealand. I think, unfortunately, one bad actor has really spoiled it for the good ones. And there are a lot of really, really good companies out there that, that have full transparency right through from the importation through to the manufacturing process. And unfortunately, a lot of those guys now, they are being called into question because of the behavior of one company and sweeping it under the rug, trying to gloss over it as, we've made a little mistake in our processes and our compliance. Yeah. Look, there's no Band-Aid that's going to fix this. You literally have to go, we fucked up. And it's going to take you time to earn the trust back. And, hey, good luck to them. It should be, at least it's going to be fun watching.
That's true. It will be, it is a bit of entertainment for little old New Zealand because, as we say, we love a little bit of goss.
We do love a little bit of goss. And, Yep.
But yeah, that's pretty much the main goss in the world right now. Although, what was it? We did have a recent pro show, which we had the beautiful Isa Pacini, which I believe she won that one off the top of my head.
I believe so, yeah. That was just this weekend. I mean, the Pro League season's kicking off in full force now, obviously, because it's not that far away from the Olympia.
Exactly.
Which, that's going to be interesting to watch. We'll just have to see how that one goes. And there's still I think we've got some of the New Zealand pros are due to start stepping on stage probably in the next, 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
2-3 weeks, I think. Yeah, 2-3 weeks. So we're definitely getting there, which is quite exciting. Oh, yes, she did win. And then Brittany Gillespie, I think, came second, which was awesome to see.
Cool.
Shout out to Brittany Gillespie.
We are big fans of Isa Pacini.
We're also big fans of Brittany. We like Brittany. She's also got an amazing shape. Amazing structural athlete too.
Well, we'd be fans anyway because they wear lots of sparkles. We like sparkles around here.
You aren't wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I always laugh when the client comes in and they're like, well, how much embellishment do you recommend? Or like, what do you think? I'm like, well, it's not really a great question to ask me. I'm probably the worst person to ask that because obviously I'm going to say all of the sparkles.
All of the sparkles.
All of them.
All of the sparkles. There is no filtering censorship on the sparkles. The sparkles should just be everywhere.
It's not even a question.
No.
It's one of those, it's like the sky is blue.
The answer is green. And the answer is always more. That's how many sparkles you need. How many should I have? More than that. That's how it should go.
Never too
many. Which I think is probably what goes into our lovely topic of today with prep goggles. So how would you describe prep goggles, Rachel? Seeing as you are currently not in prep of the restrictive nature.
This is true. So I would describe prep goggles as basically, it's kind of like temporary prep insanity. Like, actually, my favorite way to describe it is like when you are at a circus, basically, and you see those mirrors, and they're the curved ones, and it's supposed to make you look really fat. That is prep goggles. You're constantly, you've got contact lenses in, the curvy ones, and that's just all you see when you look in the mirror.
Interesting.
Either that or it's the inverted one, and it makes you look really tiny.
Yeah, that's usually one or the other, isn't it? It's either I'm fat or I'm skinny, and you don't. Two things that you do not want to call any bodybuilder. It's like, you're getting so skinny. What? You're looking small. What? It's
exactly.
It can be very hard. It can be very heartbreaking for a precious bodybuilder.
It can, exactly. So yeah, that's basically kind of what prep goggles are. Is when you look in those mirrors, that the distortion ones, and that is what you see as your reflection, but you take it as truth. You believe it.
You have no concept of normalcy. It's literally
exactly.
You see what you think you see, and it won't matter how much anybody else tells you. I mean, I've gone as far as taking pictures and drawing, sketch marks on them and superimposing them on top of it and taking the photo out. So it's just a sketch and saying, here's what it was, here's what it is. See the difference? And they still go, I'm fat. I'm never going to. You're like, Okay, let's just accept that we have a differing opinion and I'm going to be right.
Because, yeah, we can pretty much guarantee that about 2 weeks after your show, okay, you've enjoyed some food, 2 weeks after your show, you're going to look back at that photo and you're going to be like, oh, I looked really good there. And that's that same photo that you were like, I look like shit, I'm going to be a failure. Exact same photo.
Yep, exact same photo. Yep, and it happens all the time. So just know that when you are looking at that photo, the chances are you're probably lying to yourself. But that's okay. It happens to everybody for the most part. At least some portion in prep, and I think it's really interesting. Some people, it's really early, like in that first couple of weeks, like when they've hit the first going into an actual deficit, and they suddenly gone from complaining, I can't eat all this food, and then you take a food away from them and go, he's trying to kill me, and you're like, wow, I took 250 calories away. Stop your freaking whining. You think it's tough now? Wait till next week. That's usually my answer. It's usually that really early stage, or about
Really
20% of it's right in the middle where they think like they're at that 8-week mark, where they think they should be stage ready at 8 weeks. Like, good luck if you are. And then it's the ones like 3 weeks out when they absolutely freak the hell out and like, you're like, oh, you're almost there. But it's the start in the first 2 weeks. It's that middle half, and then it's the last 3 weeks. And it's almost the same reaction, just at different times. So it's almost like I should just record feedbacks and just say, oh, what week are you in prep again? 8. Here, play this.
You could.
Week 3, play this one.
I think, yeah, maybe us on the podcast, like, we just need to have a little motivational message from Chris. If you've got your prep goggles on, and yeah, go listen to this at any given time.
Yeah. It's
like a meditation.
Yeah, I'll put a little in the background. It'll be beautiful, beautiful thing. We can
take a deep breath.
Sell audio tape things. They do those. What do they do? Those things where you pay somebody some stupid $99 video and they sing you happy birthday from some famous dude. We could do that for prep goggles. We could have different ones.
If you want it, people, let us know.
Let us know. We'll put that with the t-shirts. Can we get Valerie to do that? We need to add something else to her list.
Surely.
Yeah. No, she hasn't killed me this week, so we must be doing okay.
But yes, no, it is very, especially for first timers. I think the more experience you get as a competitor, Chris, you can probably talk to me this more, but I think the more shows you do, or the more seasons you do, I should say, the less this happens.
Yeah.
Is that about right?
Yeah, I would say so. Generally, the only caveat would be somebody who's taken an extended period off, even if it's only 1 or 2 seasons, and then they're coming back to competing again. And it's weird. In a couple of years, your system can change how it handles deficit, how it handles the workload, how it handles inflammation. And it's really, really common in female athletes if they take 1 or 2 years off from a growth, and then they go into prep and they have this expectation that if they do X, then Y will happen. And it will happen at this time. And then they come back into it and say, oh, shit. Because for some reason, it's not working quite that way. So, yeah, generally, for the most part, the experienced athletes are like, it'll come right. It's the first timers and the novices that just have an absolute conniption fit, and then they blame everybody in the world for what's going on, including themselves, unfortunately. But yeah, it should get easier, people. Your first time is always the hardest.
Unless you really, really screw up your reverse or don't do a reverse, and then sometimes the second time can be a little bit harder. But usually you learn from that. But yeah, in theory, the first one should be the hardest. But yeah, as Chris says, like it's generally because you don't know how your body is going to drop weight. My answer to all prep people, or all prep goggle people, is like, do you trust your coach? Yes or no? They're always, like 99% of the time, they're going to answer yes. Then okay, stop stressing. Yeah. That's your coach's problem. If you are following the plan, because the next question is, are you following the plan? Are you following it to a T, or like is 99%, like even 90%? And if the answer is yes, what are you stressing about? If you trust your coach and you're following their plan, you have zero to stress about.
Yeah. Stress your coach out. That's it. That's their job. The number of times I'm looking at check-ins and looking at data and going, if 1 + 1 = 3.5, I'm expecting there's a variable in there that we did not account for.
It's true.
And that stresses me out. And then I start going, I believe there's some creative accounting in this tracking here. And that's when you watch the chicken and you ask somebody, say, so Rachel, let's just look at Wednesday. According to this, and you watch them go,
Hide the face.
And you're like, right, okay, should we try this again, shall we? But yes, don't. That's why a lot of coaches don't have a lot of hair.
That makes sense.
It's prep goggles. That's what causes it.
So yes, if you have prep goggles, like the main solution is blame your coach. Obviously, like that's
clearly.
But
it's all the coach's fault.
Well, it depends. It depends. It's like one of those little flowcharts. Oh my gosh, we should make one of those, and we can have that as the T-shirt. Do you trust your coach? Yes or no? You know the little flowchart ones?
Yes. Yeah,
I think that's a perfect one. Yep, I think that's perfect. Right. Done.
Okay.
But if you trust your coach, if you are following the plan, then in theory you have nothing to worry about because you hired them for a reason. They know what they're doing. In general, I think a lot of people, some of the issue is that they are expecting themselves to look like pros or top-level Olympians in their first ever show. That's generally not going to happen. Most of those
didn't even happen to the Olympians, so it's sure as hell not going to happen to you.
Yes, like if you're expecting to look like, I don't know, Laura Leach Pardos, she's been in the game as a pro for over 10 years. As a pro.
Yep. As a pro.
I don't think you're going to be beating her on your first attempt. So yeah, even some of the girls who are showing up to the regional shows, a lot of them have also been around for years. Okay, they're not sitting around twiddling their thumbs. They are working. So you do need to also understand that while your coach will get you ready and in a good condition for stage, they will get you to your relative leanness that you need to be. Other than that, if you just don't have enough size, then that's not necessarily something we can fix straight away. That is something that will take a few years of growth. Don't freak out about not being ready, because otherwise you will never compete.
Exactly.
If being ready to you is looking like you're about to win the Olympia, then no, you will never compete.
No. If you hold yourself to that standard, which I think is one of the common things about the prep goggles or body dysmorphia or body distortion, more to the thing is like if you set an unrealistic set of expectations for as an athlete, if you say, I expect to look like this when I step on stage, and that level of expectation is the elite level, doesn't matter what federation you're in or what look it is. I mean, we often talk about the Olympia and etc. If you're holding yourself to that standard, and this is like you're into either year 1 of competing or even year 3 of competing, that's not realistic. To be fair, it's not realistic for 99% of people who've been competing for an extended period of time. But so, you can't look at yourself and say, but I don't look like this competitor, or I don't look like this, because nobody has that expectation that you will. Nobody has that expectation of any athlete other than at that elite level. And the elite level is different based on which federation you're in. It's like nobody has the expectation that if you're doing an ICM Pro show that you are going to look like an IFBB Pro League bikini athlete. Because if you did, you'd be in the wrong division, because you should be in fitness model, not bikini.
Or even figure, to be honest.
Or even figure, to be fair, yeah. But it's, if you're doing even like PCA or IFBB Federation, the International Amateur Federation, all of those things, at that elite level, that takes time. Bikini, all of the female classes in particular, none of them are joining the gym in January as a New Year's resolution, and come the end of the season around September that you're stepping on stage and looking like an Amazonian goddess.
There is very, very few people who are able to do things like that. Like, we always hear stories about those people because it's so impressive. People talk about it, but like it's obviously it's not as fun to tell the story of someone who, I don't know, worked their ass off for years and then got up and finally got rewarded after they've been competing for 10 years. That's not as fun as telling the story of, oh my God, this girl came and competed the first time and demolished everyone. Like it's a bit more wow factor. So we hear that a lot, but it actually doesn't happen as often as you would think. It is very rare and becoming increasingly more rare. It used to be more common back in early 2020s.
Yeah, and even early, going back even further than that,
further than that, definitely. Like up until I'd say 2022, I'd say that kind of died off a lot.
Yeah, there was in the late 2014, 16, that sort of era. there were a lot of girls that did a regional show, did nationals, and went pro. It was not uncommon. But if you look at what they looked like then, Sheena is a classic example. Like if you look at her when she won her pro card to what she was before she retired. I know she's coming back this year, but that doesn't happen anymore because the standards have considerably raised. And the other thing is, like, you always hear about these people who win their pro cards. I mean, the coaches are always saying, here's X, Y, and Z. But remember, for every one champion that a coach puts up as being, look how good I am and look what I achieved, there's 99 other girls behind her who are not her. So you have to be realistic about what you're holding yourself to be compared to. And the only person, and we've talked about this numerous times, Rich, it's like the only person you can really compare yourself to is you. And it's the version that you bring to the stage on that time. And as a rule of thumb, that version should always be the best version that you've ever been, whether you've never stepped on stage before or you've stepped on stage numerous times before.
Yeah, but as like Chris says, like, there's no expectation for you to look at that high level, especially for your first show. Even if you've competed for years, there's no expectation necessarily for you to look like that. Generally, the only, I guess, expectation, I say with quotation marks, would be that you look at least as good as you did the previous show.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, as long as you are at least equal to your previous show, if you have done one, then people are not going to, they're not going to bat an eye.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, if you come in just a touch worse, that's still not even a big thing. People might be like, oh, probably was a little bit leaner last show, but it's just a shoulder shrug.
Yeah.
If you are a first timer, no one has any expectations of you whatsoever because you have never been on stage.
Yeah. That's why it's called first timers.
Exactly. The only time you can set yourself up for a few expectations, but I'm going to say that's your fault if you do that, because if you are constantly posting catfish photos on Instagram of going like, look, I have solid tie-ins, and then you actually don't, and then people show up expecting you to have tie-ins. That's the only time that people have expectations. But I'm going to say that's your own fault if you do that.
Yeah. And of course, if you've got a coach telling you that you're going to win, you're going to clean up, you're going to do all this sort of thing, and again, that's run. They don't know, and if they do know, then I'm going to call that fraud.
There is like a little caveat there where they say, in theory, you should clean up, but we don't know what will happen with the judging. But in theory, you should. Because if you have someone like a certain goddess, then in theory, yes, you should clean up. But yeah, you should never say to someone that absolutely guarantee you are going to win.
I mean, if it was that easy, then why would anybody bother going to competing? We might just mail them the medals now. Say, and congratulations, you won. You'll be like,
exactly.
Sweet.
But yeah, this time of season, everyone is freaking out. Everyone is panicking because they're like, oh my gosh, I'm not good enough. Yeah. Stop. Like, remember what the goal is. What is the goal? What is the goal?
Goal is to be the best version of yourself. That's it.
I mean, everyone wants a medal. Everyone wants a medal. That's fine. Nobody's there to lose. Nobody is going there being like, I hope I come last.
Yeah. Or I hope I don't come last. I hope I come second to last at least.
Honestly, usually, like, my goal is just not to come last. That is usually the big one. But I mean, someone has to. Someone has to. It sucks, but someone does. There's no escaping that.
Unfortunately, yeah, somebody's got to win and somebody's not. So.
But yeah, I'd say having the goal not to come last is usually a pretty good one. But yeah, if you say I must win this show, it gets a little bit dicey.
Yeah, if that's your sole identity. But I think that's where. And we've talked about this before, like comparisons and like looking at somebody's social media, like, finding out who's competing in this show and who's doing this, and then comparing yourself to them, and then doing this, that, and the other thing. All you're doing is screwing yourself over, because you got to get into your own head and go, "Oh my God, look at her! She's this, that, and the other thing." It's like, look, how many shots did it take that athlete to get that one look, to get the right lighting so that you can see the muscle definition and the six packs and all that sort of carry on. They're doing the same shit that you are, which is looking for the best shot that they can post up so you can look at it. So if you're constantly comparing yourself to the best photo that they can do, bless you, or anything like that, well, of course you're going to start second guessing yourself, because you're like, oh my God, look how fantastic she is. She's so much further ahead than I am. And it's like, really? Yeah, no, maybe just silence some of that stuff. And at the end of the day, half of those people won't even make it to stage anyway. Just be. You're already start being kind to yourself.
You're at the top 1% already if you are able to get on stage. You're already at the top 1%. Like, I think a lot of people forget that. Like, You can even think about what's our obesity statistic at the moment, isn't it? Like,
It's over 38% or something like
yeah,
that.
and then I think overweight is close to 60. So even if you're even just not overweight, you are now at the top 40% of the population. You are above halfway.
Yeah.
You are easily above halfway.
Good job, people.
So yeah, I think people forget that often, is that it's even just getting on stage doing a prep is very, very, it's very impressive already. People get very in their heads because it is a very isolating sport, and it's because it's so grinding. You often get into that mindset of I must suffer, I must work harder, I must work harder. It's never enough. It's never enough. But at the same time, it's a subjective sport. It's not like swimming, running, where there is a time or there is a distance and a jump, whatever. It's not a set in stone measurement.
If there was, you would win that though, Rachel, because you do have the fastest run to the front of the stage. So yeah, that's been documented.
If there was a race in the heels of the walk, I like a walking race in heels on a stage. Yeah, like I think I could win that.
Yeah, hands down, gold medal. Just give it to Rachel now.
Exactly.
That should be a special class. They could do that as like as a judging portion. It's like sprint across. Who's the fastest across the stage, and that would be the only measurable result.
You get points subtracted if you drop your glutes, and like do a backwalk version.
Running with your glutes up. That sounds complicated.
Like speed walk, but you're not allowed to jiggle.
No jiggle, no wiggle, sprint. That sounds tough. That sounds. Ed'd be good at that because he can do the triple jump. So like he has all of those different things.
He also has like tie-ins. He's a bitch. He likes to like be like, I have tie-ins. I'm better than you. I should be a bikini athlete. I'm like, fuck off.
I'm not sure I would be building that part up if I was Ed, that I should be a bikini. I mean, I've been told by bikini girls that they wish they had my legs, and I was like, I'm not sure whether to be complimented or insulted.
Yeah, but see, like guys can build more muscle when if you've done like some kind of jumping or athletics, usually you're gonna have a big butt. Like go look at the athletics lineups; they all have big butts.
That's true. That is true.
Why so many athletics people do well? Look at Ashley Kay; she used to do athletics.
Yeah, that's true.
But yes, no. Anyway, coming back on topic.
Good luck.
Like we say, it's not measurable. It's a subjective sport, so it doesn't matter how good you look or how hard you've worked. If the judges decide that you didn't win, then you didn't win. Doesn't matter. Doesn't.
And if you can't accept that going in, don't get on stage because your chances of winning. Again, there can only be one winner, and you have no control over that. You have no control over what everybody else does. You have no control over what the judges see or prefer or any of that sort of stuff. It's just literally, it's like going to the casino. Do you put it all on black or do you put it all on red? At the end of the day, you don't know what the hell's going to happen.
Exactly.
And it's just go with it. At the end of the day, you've done everything you can. And, don't start fixating on that just when you're starting in prep. It's just head down, bum up, get the work done, and follow your plan.
So three kind of tips to kind of help deal with some of this comparison.
Three.
I mean, two of them are kind of similar. One, if you are finding that you are comparing yourself to all the pros and you are expecting yourself to look like them, unfollow them all or just mute them all from your account.
Yeah.
Just get rid of it on your feed. It's the same with like when we say with the food, when people start to get all that food noise, get rid of it on your feed. The more you look at it, the worse it gets. So
the more of those videos you get where it's like, you can have this and it's only 120 calories with 455 grams of protein, and the number of freaking videos that I get sent through as soon as prep starts, it's like, can I have this? I'm like, no, you freaking can't. It's like, and yes, it looks good, but do you want to spend 45 minutes to an hour every day making these frickin' egg white fluffy pancakes? We could have the entire bowl, which, by the way, only tastes good because you sprinkled it with frickin' cinnamon sugar. So shut up. Anyway, off.
It's like I love the prep cheesecake. What is it? The Biscoff one that I had in prep. But oh my god, it was effort to make.
I know. It sounds good when you start, and then you realize
it does taste good. It's just a lot of effort. But anyway, coming back on topic. So. Where were we going? Oh yeah, get rid of any pros. If any pros, if you've got them on your feed and you're comparing yourself to them, unfollow or just mute it, because you can do that these days. You don't have to unfollow. You can then go back on your muted accounts and unmute them all later.
Yeah.
So yeah, just stop, get rid of that, and then you hopefully will stop expecting that for your first show or even an early show. A lot of those physiques take 10 plus years to achieve.
Exactly.
Plus, a lot of them actually also had sporting backgrounds. If you don't have a sporting background, even longer. So, it takes time, people. It takes time. Number 2, if you are doing the same thing with regional competitors that you may be competing with, also mute and unfollow, or just mute, up to you. But also stop looking at those, because if you are finding that you're constantly being like, but I'm competing against this person, oh, they're going to beat me, oh, they look so good though, probably best to stop looking. If it's like a situation of it's motivating you to work harder, to be like, I've got to train shoulders because I know that she has slightly better shoulders than me, so I'm going to like push, then that's okay. If it's one of those friendly competitive ones, but if it's like it's making you negative self-talk, get rid of it. Anything that's negative, get rid of it.
And from a judging perspective, I can tell you that I never followed anybody, and I just did not give a flying rip what you looked like on social media, because I know you're not going to look like that when you stand in front of me. So it's like, if you're sitting there critiquing their physiques and then thinking, well, this is what the judges are going to expect. Well, like, the judges, they don't have time. I mean, when the hell do I find time to go through and look at everybody's? Well, we've got to watch out for Samantha because she's got these great tie-ins. I'm like, you tell me that, I'm going to go, who the fuck's Samantha?
Who's time to go find all these people?
Yeah. So a number of times you send me a message, Rach, saying, blah, blah, XYZ. I'm like, who?
To be fair, a lot of these people I just know because they're my clients and I've talked to them, or people tell me things because I'm basically the hairdresser of the bikini world.
This is true. This is true. That should be your new title.
Yeah, basically. But and what was number 3? I did have a number 3. Shoot, what was it?
Was that the food one, or was that the same as the second?
No. It was a different one completely. It was not to do with unfollowing. We're talking about not compare. If you are looking at your photos and you are feeling like, oh my god, I look so fat, or oh, I look so small, go back, compare it to a photo from either the start of prep, or like if you were at a similar weight at some point, compare it to that like a while back, not 2 weeks ago, definitely not. That's not going to obviously be huge differences, but take a photo, compare yourself to yourself, look at your progress. That is my other tip, because then it gives you a little bit more of, I guess, a proper visual that you can see. It's a little bit, not measurable, but quantifiable. And you can really see the difference of actually how far you've come. And shit, I actually am looking pretty good, especially compared to what I was. So that is my other tip. Don't just look at your chicken photo from this week and be like, I look like shit. Go back and compare it. Or don't look at it all. Just make sure you're posing properly and then don't look at it. That's what I do usually.
Take the picture and send it into with your chicken. It's a don't. But that's the like, if you like the social goggles, and then you've got your gym goggles as well. It's like, I think the big one is, there's a couple of big ones, like thinking that more cardio is going to be better, that you're going to achieve more results. Your coach has told you to do X number of minutes of cardio, and you're like, I'll do an extra 20 minutes on the StairMaster, which, by the way, ladies, I hate to burst your bubble, but the StairMaster is not the be-all and end-all of cardio. In fact, if anything, for a lot of girls, it's going to have a negative effect, because it can cause a huge amount of inflammation and other issues for the lower body. So, you don't need to kill yourself doing cardio. But, thinking, I need to do more. What else the gym goggles?
Feeling
guilty.
Sorry, interruption, because this is a legitimate question, because this is something that I've been telling my posing clients. I'm sorry. But so when we are doing posing and we are walking laps, does that count as cardio?
No.
Damn it.
Counts as conditioning. We'll call it conditioning. How about that?
Steps?
I'll meet you in the middle. We'll call it conditioning. I don't even count steps as cardio. If you have a very sedentary job, then tracking steps can become quite important, because you are not doing a lot of like that, just general movement in general. So like if your job is very office based, you sit there and you're not doing anything, then yes, saying, okay, I need to do a minimum of 10,000 steps a day or 12,000 steps a day. They are burning energy. If you have a job where you're like, one of the team members is a builder and wanders around all day with a 20 kilo tool belt on, I don't give a flying fuck how many steps you do, because you're burning the energy. So I tend to refer to it as conditioning over cardio. Cardio serves a specific purpose. And posing in itself is part of the conditioning, whether it's a male class or a female class. You could argue that the posing for a male is a little bit more conditioning focused because of the level of tension and flexing that you have to put into it. But I wouldn't count that as cardio. Sorry.
Damn it. Sorry, girls. Sorry, I tried. I did try.
Good question, though. Good question.
But yes, anyway, we won't go on too long today, so we will wrap it up soon. But basically, when you are in prep as well, like, because you are a little bit angry, most likely you're going to be a little bit more emotional, dare I say it. You're going to be a bit more irritable. You're going to be, just basically more grumpy in general, and a little bit more negative, just as a general rule, okay?
Yeah.
So it's very important not to let that get to your head too much, because the more you dwell on it, the worse it gets. And that all of that counts. Like how many of us have ever like gotten really grumpy? We snapped at someone. We're like just having a little bitch, having a little tantrum, and then we have some food and we're like, oh, okay, I'm okay now. I'm good.
Yep. That's a frequent basis. Yep.
Yeah, basically. And now you're living your whole life in that hangry state right now.
Yep, you are. And the other thing is to think about, like, probably the only pictures that really count are your check-in pictures. But, everybody does their check-in pictures first thing in the morning, right? And why? Stuff that I know. You're at your lightest. You're at your lightest, but you're also going to be at your flattest. And here's a little news flash for most of you bikini athletes. You're not going to be the first class on stage. So the likelihood of you stepping on stage at 9 o'clock in the morning is 3/4 of fuck all.
I get this a lot with measurements.
You're probably going to be stepping on stage about 8 p.m. at night when everybody is like, dear God, please shoot me, will this be over? So if you really want to do fair comparisons of what you're going to look like, particularly as you get later on, again, if you're going to be focused on it and you're seeing these people on stage the way they're looking, remember, they don't look like you did at 5 o'clock in the morning and 1 degrees temperature in the car room where you're sending your chicken photos. They're on stage at 8, 9, whatever o'clock time at night, when they are fully fed, they are fully pumped up, they are at the peak of their unhealthy conditioning that they can be. So maybe start taking your check-in photos a little bit later in the day, like around when you expect to be on stage, which is going to be anywhere between basically 5 and 9 o'clock.
I always get this from competitors asking me, like, with their measurements. They're like, oh, do I need to take it fasted and first thing in the morning? I'm like, if you're getting to the level of bloated that it would need to affect your measurements by more than like a centimeter, that's an issue with your diet and digestion. That's you shouldn't your stomach shouldn't expand that much that it has that much effect, because also it's not your bikini's not really covering your stomach. It's just
really not covering much of anything, to be fair.
No, it's not. So generally, don't freak out about eating food, please. Food is good. And then also on show day as well, everyone always freaks out about eating food. Eat your food, people.
They do.
Eat your food.
Eat your food. That's what it's there for. Drink your water. You're not supposed to be dehydrated. So I guess sort of trying to wrap things up in a reasonable time frame, because we all know Rachel and I can wrap it on about this shit for hours. How to stay grounded. I think you need to start thinking about this now when you're in prep, because just accept the wheels are going to come off at some stage, and you're going to have that minor little temper tantrum in the middle of Pack and Save or New World or Woolworths when you're going.
No, it's usually in the car. It's in the car before going into Pack and Save. It's before going in, because it's so much effort to stand up and get out of the car and get the groceries. It's always in the car. Okay,
good to know. Well, at least it's not in public. How do we stay grounded during prep? There has to be a little bit of a reality check every now and again. But look, it's also okay to be a little bit delusional. And you can blame that on low blood sugar levels. It's okay. And if in doubt, blame your coach. Look, I'd be much more human if my coach would just let me eat. And then at which point I'll go, you're on 1,700 calories. Shut up. Yes, you have to eat your spinach. And you know exactly who that's aimed at.
I feel like she's getting digs in every podcast at the moment.
Well, if she did make it so easy for us, it would be, but yeah. It's not our fault.
This is true. But yes, as we say, it's easy for us to just say, calm down. Like that's the worst advice ever when you're stressing. But stop looking at your check-in photos all the time. Just stop looking at them. Focus on something else. You've got other things in your life to worry about. Stop looking at the mirror all the time. Okay, If you need to, wear baggy clothes. If you feel like you are constantly, I need to check if my abs are there. They're not going to magically appear within an hour.
It's like comparing pump photos and saying, got a glute pump, and then they're showing, the next day, they still got a pump from yesterday. Well, I hate to disappoint you, Bubble.
Science says otherwise.
Science says that's bollocks. And also, look, remember, this is temporary. All right? This is not going to last forever. There will come a day in the not too distant future when the smell of the spray tan will have worn off and food intake has returned relatively to normal, and you can string more than 2 sentences together. So this is temporary. It's potentially could get worse before it gets better, but it's still just temporary. And you know when it's going to end, because that's the last competition that you're going to do for the year. So, don't get too hung up in what's going on. And just, I don't like the term trust the process, but just understand it is a process. And it's a process that's timed. And sometimes things will change in that process because your body has done something that wasn't expected. And particularly with female athletes, it's kind of like expect the unexpected.
Yeah. As we said at the beginning, if you trust your coach and if you are following the plan, in theory, you don't have a lot to worry about in terms of showing up not ready in quotation marks, because that is usually the thing that people freak out about. Yeah. So stop looking at chicken photos. Stop looking at everyone else's chicken photos. If that's causing you negativity, stop comparing yourself to pros. It's you versus you. That's it. No one else has any expectations of you. It is your expectations of yourself, and you need to make sure that that is a realistic expectation. If you're expecting yourself to look like a 10-year pro, then that's probably not going to happen. But you can have high expectations of yourself, but also you can't, guarantee what's going to happen. Okay, so if you like your metabolism could go kaput, I don't know, it could happen. Sometimes, like we expect the unexpected, so that's fine. As if you are hanging your entire identity and self-worth on what you look like, then you are going to have issues, and it's going to last longer than just your prep.
Yeah. And I guess that's kind of a key takeaway around this sort of episode is, look, it does, and it most likely will happen, that you are going to develop some form of prep goggles. You're going to get that tunnel myopic vision. You're going to be extremely hard on yourself. You're going to set a level of expectation for yourself that essentially is a check your body can't cash. But understand that is normal. Okay, you're not a freak of nature, and this does not make you unique. This just means you're going through prep, which, by the way, people, is not supposed to be fun.
If it was fun and easy, everyone would do it.
Yeah, everyone would do it. And everybody walking around shredded with a six pack and stuff like that. So it's like,
if you are worried, you can ask you can ask your coach the question, "Hey, am I on track? Am I on track to be looking XYZ on stage?" The answer will be yes or no. Or it could be like, yes, at the moment you are, or right now, no, but we are speeding things up next week to make sure it happens. That is usually going to be the two answers. Yeah. But it's good to what's the word?
Yeah. Self-analyze.
Not self-analyze, but get in the feedback, or reassurance is the word. It's good reassurance.
So true. Yeah, and it is a process. I mean, at the end of the day, it is relatively, I like to sort of draw maps. Like, this is the process. This is what we expectation, and constantly monitoring it. And, I don't like when somebody says, okay, at week 8, we're going to be dropping your calories by 250. It's like, really? Why? You have to expect there's going to be certain changes are going to be based on how your body reacts. And if your body is reacting very well and it's tracking accordingly to plan, where you're going to be at, X percentage body fat, X look, whatever it is going to be by a certain date, well, sometimes things don't change. Sometimes you could be going too fast. So potentially losing too much muscle mass, losing too much body fat, which means that you're going to be ready too early, which means we can't actually sustain the look. So sometimes things will back off a little bit. And that's why you have a coach, to be able to look at that information and say, I think we need to increase the pace a little bit. I think we need to slow off a little bit. I think you can have some downtime. People like to use the term reload or reset. It's all sorts of different ways you can look at it. And there is no right or wrong. And if you're comparing yourself to a friend of yours who's following a different plan with a different coach, that doesn't mean you're right or they're wrong. That just means that's the pathway they're following. I had somebody the other day say to me, but one of my girls who trains at the gym with me, she's with XYZ coach, and she's 12 weeks out and she's on 800 calories and 90 minutes of cardio a day. And I said, is she a happy girl? And it's like, well, that's what her coach has told her to do. And our role's not to question that. I would.
I'm questioning it.
Yeah. I'm like, really? Okay, where's she going to go from here? But anyway, it's your process. It's your journey that you're on. It's like, if you spend your entire time questioning the process or the path that you're following versus what somebody else is following, you're never going to accept where you're at. And you're going to have those goggles on, and it's going to make prep not just physically brutal, which it is. Rach can attest to. It's not fun, but it's going to make it emotionally brutal. And frankly, this is a sport that brings out enough insecurities of people. So don't add gasoline to that fire. by something you can't change.
Yeah. So it's trying to take emotions out of it where you can get the outside eye, because your eyes cannot be trusted. Yeah. Absolutely cannot be trusted. Yeah. It's like when you go to a buffet, right, and you get to the dessert table, you're going to get everything. Your eyes are bigger than your stomach at that point. You're like, yes, I can eat all that. No, you cannot. It's same concept. What you think and what you see is not necessarily reality.
Yes. Prep goggles are much like beer goggles. Things do not look as good when you take the glasses off.
That is also true. That is also true. And on that note, I think we should probably wrap it up there for today. And we look forward to seeing you at our Christchurch posting workshop. Well, actually, it is this weekend, but we've already seen you.
It'll be gone by the time this one comes out. It'll be like we enjoyed seeing you at the Christchurch workshop and the ICN. What's it called? Family
Coaches.
Day, Open Day, Coaching Day. There's training going on. We'll be down there for that.
And we look forward to seeing you at the ICN North Island show, which will be this weekend coming by the time this comes out.
Which will be after this episode. So this whole end section will now make sense.
Yes, there we go.
See, we rescued that quite nicely. Well done, Rachel. Good job. Good job. All right. And of course, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on Spotify and YouTube so that other people can listen to our wonderful load of diatribe that we come up with. But yeah, again, thank you for... Oh, and also by next week, we might have a bit of an idea of the wedding dress.
We might.
We might. Yes, we might not too, but plenty of time.
We'll find out. Stay tuned.
Anyway, stay tuned. Watch this space. And enjoy your week, everybody. It's been a pleasure having you, and we will catch you all next Monday.
Enjoy.